You know, I wonder about a lot of different things, and I understand that we have the hustle culture, that you've got to plug and plug until you absolutely get what you want. And of course, there's work involved, but I'm really interested in not doing things differently for the sake of doing them differently. But I've got my piano here, I've got my art supplies and the new painting that I'm doing. This is a photograph that I took of Paris eons ago. That's the corner of a canvas that I painted. And the thing with all of these things is that it was a particular moment in time, a sort of a flash of inspiration that I then just got to work with. And when I was very, very young, I had, literally a handful of piano lessons. And then I didn't do any exams, didn't do any theory, just learnt what the notes were, how to read sheet music. And then I actually didn't play for, 6 or 7 years. And then I just sat down and I started playing, literally and figuratively, just started playing around, and I picked up pieces of music. And within a few years, without any sort of formal training particularly, just sitting in 𝐓𝐰𝐢𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐫, she was a Welsh lady who lived in a nearby village where my grandma, my dad's mother, actually ended her days, a village called Hope. So I can actually legitimately say my grandma lived in Hope, which I always find quite amusing. This woman, 𝐓𝐰𝐢𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐫, she lived in a quite nice semi-detached house with her brood of children. And I just remember the keys, the keys had the notes sellotaped onto them, and just learning. And maybe we looked at a handful of books, but we just went straight into playing pieces of music. And it just implanted itself. And then once I hit my sort of mid-teens, basically, I started playing pieces that I liked, pieces that I'd listened to, and in various ways on the radio, and on cassette tapes, and then on CDs. That's how old I am. And it got to a point where I actually learned how to play pieces far beyond what I should have been able to play, and I can still play them now. And I just remember the process actually being very relaxed and natural. And I'm picking up all of these things now, and far from the grind kind of way of doing things, I'm actually just being really, really relaxed and laid back by it. And because of that, I'm not getting in my own way anymore. And the more that I relax, I swear to God, the more I get done. And I haven't got the same sense of urgency of needing to start a business, but I definitely believe that, and feel actually, that if you just allow things to be the way that they actually are, and learn things at the right pace, that you'll find the solutions that you actually need. And what I'm actually thinking about today is about being interested, having a little sniff around in the undergrowth and seeing what you find and going with it. And in the last couple of weeks, I've had quite a few sort of synchronicitous, serendipitous sort of occurrences where recently I talked about a lady coming up to me in a cafe, and this lovely French lady saying, "You have a lovely energy. wonderful energy. It really matters. And I just, things like that, small, very brief, you know, not particularly long amounts of time, but very meaningful things, and communicating with a good friend of mine from Twitter, and just things that I'm putting out are clearly resonating back and are clear signs to me that I'm on the right path. And what I've experienced a huge amount of in my life from a lot of different people is a huge amount of drama. I'm just not about that anymore. And I know that I've been consuming a huge amount of drama with various people that I've watched. But we go through these stages, and you need to expose yourself to these things that feel like temptations, things that you're intrigued by. And once you actually get the point of what those people are doing, you take from that all of the useful techniques, you know, the psychological tools that you can take with you, and then just discard the rest, let it all go, and stop worrying. And this is the thing about being more relaxed. Stop worrying whether you're doing the right or the wrong thing. Let your feet carry you. And because I've come back to where I grew up, and I'm able in a solitary and totally independent, proactive fashion of just wandering around all of the different footpaths through the landscape and being incredibly spontaneous. This is stuff that you can access all the time. This is stuff that anybody can do. If there's a footpath that you just want to walk along and you don't really know why, follow that instinct as if your life absolutely depends on it, because it does. That's what the feeling of freedom really feels like. And when you're in flow, when you're actually trusting yourself, because this is, I think, the biggest shift that I've had in the last year of working with my therapist, of splitting up with my ex-boyfriend, of stopping drinking, of being teetotal now for literally just over 11 months, of having the clarity to realize I am allowed to trust myself, I am allowed to follow my own intuition, and just give yourself permission to do it. Don't look to anybody else, because you have no idea what's going on in other people's lives, and you have no idea whether they're going to give you the right advice or not. Just learn to follow your feet. Just don't even hesitate. Don't second guess yourself, and stop backing yourself into corners. And I know that there's the V of this, you know, my background. But the thing is, as you can see, it's opening out. That plant effortlessly is just falling as it may, and it's doing its own thing. It's moving towards the light. It's soaking up all the nutrients from the soil. It doesn't need to think about these things. It does them naturally, it does them automatically. And the more that you can live in an unhindered and a joyful and uplifting way, the better life becomes. And all it really is being curious and following that scent, because the universe knows what it's doing. And the truth is, we know what suits our heart, what makes our heart sing. We know these things, but for some reason we deny ourselves all of these things because we feel like it's too wild, or that people won't approve, or that it'll get us into trouble. Fuck all of that shit. Get on with it. Do all of these things, because without wanting to sound hasty, the clock is ticking. Always ticking. And the whole point of life is to fill it with as much joy and fulfillment as you possibly can, following as many different passions that really make you feel alive. That is the point. So just learn to follow what you're interested in, and I guarantee you, your life becomes better, you get more done, and at the end of each and every single day, you have that wonderful feeling that you lived the best day that you possibly can. And that, my friends, is how your entire life can be. Trust yourself, be interested, and go for it.